Hey team, hope you're all well during the this lockdown, especially guys and everyone in Sydney, and we're all keeping safe. I thought while I clean my equipment from that last hectic trip, that last hectic session, I'll talk about something that's close to my heart and something quite important, which is men's mental health. I've known people and I've known family members of friends and colleagues, men that have taken their lives, and no one knew any better. Not many people talk about this from a hobby perspective or from a friendship perspective in general, but it's a serious issue that needs to be discussed, right? Things like a.k.a. Day and a lot of campaigns out there talking about men's health, men's mental health and support. There's quite a lot out there, but I wanted to talk about it from my own experience. And I'm not a professional, but I've gone through my own challenges and difficulties just like every other person out there. And in general, again, I'm going to come across as sexist, but men don't like talking about their feelings or talking about their problems, and this is widely known, right? And this is something that needs to change. But from a personal perspective, I want to just share my story and what fishing did for me and my mates in fishing did for me during my difficult times, and hoping that this can help others out there and possibly provide some ideas to those going through some difficulties at the moment. So my story, I'd say it started about 8 years ago. I've had difficulties in the past, obviously, being a migrant, blah blah blah, and parents, working class and all that. But my own personal experience was about 8 years ago when my oldest son passed away at the age of 2.5, and he passed away from a viral infection in the blood system. I can't remember what the exact details were, but it was quite quick and it was quite sudden and something that obviously we didn't expect. And at the time, it just felt like, everything I planned and everything I organized and everything that I was working towards just, went out the window. And I really found it difficult to try to express how I was feeling and what was in my mind at the time, whether it was with my mates, my family, or even my wife, right? My wife didn't understand it, and I couldn't express it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of men out there feel the same way. I didn't seek professional help, which I think I should have at the time, but thankfully it kind of worked out for me. At the time I left my job, sold my property. I love my family, and spending time with them helped me a lot. I've got a strong faith in my religion, but there was still something missing at the time. And I felt like I needed something, an outlet. And fortunately for me, my mate Ilham, so LBG, OG, he helped me out and he told me, hey, let's start fishing. So 7 years ago, I started my fishing story, you can call it. And since then, it's really helped me out in a number of ways. I met my mate Anwar not long after that. Like, we were mates from a while back, but we didn't keep in touch for a long time. I found out he was a fisherman also, so we got together and started fishing. So the three of us, Ilham, myself, and Anwar, fishing with them helped me out. But there was times when I would just go fishing by myself, and that also really did some good for me in terms of my state of mind. There's something therapeutic about being in nature, looking at the ocean and hearing that the ocean and feeling the breeze and all that's got to do with nature. I think a lot of people take that for granted, to be honest, because being out there, being outdoors helps, and not being stuck at home and being by yourself. The other thing that helped was the purchasing equipment. Something about purchasing stuff, like this thing here, helped me out, and catching the big fish, after targeting them and planning and whatever, that really helped me out. So it became an outlet, right? And I know a lot of fishers out there will understand what I'm talking about, and anyone that has a hobby. It really helped me out to look forward on a weekly basis to something I can do for myself and by myself. Again, love doing things with my family, but doing things for yourself is very important. It's a relatively cheap hobby if you're going to compare it to things like cars or motorbikes. So from that perspective, it's a good hobby to have. Not long after that, we kind of built up our own crew. I explained this in my previous videos. A bunch of other guys joined the crew, and all of a sudden we've got, I don't know now, I think we've got about 18 peeps, 18 guys in the crew, and then we got our families involved, and now it's become a community. What we really did with that crew is allowed us to have some of that time to have a chat with each other, whether when we're fishing or when we're driving to the location. Have those moments where we talk about our personal issues, which normally we won't do, right? Blokes don't do that. We don't drink alcohol either, so maybe you do that in the pub, but we don't do that. And a lot of men don't talk about things. So, but when you're fishing and you're on the road, it kind of forces you to have that chat and talk about what's going on in your lives. And that really helped me out in terms of my mental state and to get me back to who I was. You know, in terms of career, education, family, and everything else, it did play a part. Believe it or not, you know, people take it for granted when it comes to hobbies like fishing, but there's so many benefits. I don't look at it as competing with others. I don't look at it as my lifestyle. I just purely looked at it as something that I enjoyed, and hence you'll see it in the way we fish, right? We don't take it too serious. So the key message of this video, first thing is I think I would recommend seeking professional help straight away. Connect with a few mates, especially with something that you have something in common. Again, fishing was my thing. Talk to someone, right? And again, hoping that fishing would be that outlet for you to be able to connect with your mates on a different level. And, you know, talking to them, helping each other out, they talk to you. It becomes a support network, essentially. And that's what it became for Team Kingies. And finally, catching that big fish, eh? So target that big fish, catch that big fish. It's that satisfaction you can't replicate, and that again also helps out with the healing. So I'm hoping this will help a few people out there. And again, I'm not a professional, but that's my experience. It really helped me out. I was able then to explain that to my wife down the track, what I was going through, which I couldn't do at the time. And yeah, enjoy it, and don't take things for granted. See you guys in the next video.